Work?
Yeah, it is now.
All right, cool. Good to go?
I think so. I'll let you know in a second.
All right. I just want to make sure you can hear me all right.
Yeah, no, it's great.
All
We're
right.
live? Okay, I think we're live. All right, so let's just share
Shit.
what we need to. Hi. So if you go onto my either drug and alcohol or go to my postal page.
Yeah. Wait, I should do that now?
Yeah, you can do.
To Facebook?
Yep.
All right. All right. Zoom. All right, shit. Facebook. Go to your page.
Yeah, go to my postal page. It should be there.
So I'm looking at your page. What am I clicking on?
You see now if you go or go to drug and alcohol alternatives. And
yeah, here we go. Yeah, I got it.
Just share.
All right, hit share. I can only save. Oh, here we go. Share. Share now.
Yep. Is it working, Audra? Yeah, but we don't have you, Matt. You're not on the camera. There you go.
My back. There we go.
All right, hold on. Let's just make sure that we got everything here. I think Facebook is up to Swanee. I really do. Let's just make sure that it's yeah, but you're a little behind me, Audra. Don't forget. Audra, is it there? Just do a refresh, Audra.
Can you pull out?
Is it live on your page, Matt?
Yeah, I think so. I hit share. Right now, yeah, we're 2 minutes. You're drug and alcohol sharing. Matthew Williams is live. I'm pretty sure. I think it's happening. Yeah, I'm live with you right now. We got 7 people. What's up, yo?
Can you see it?
I can see you and me walking around. Now I just see you.
Fine. Okay. So it's a little
because I have to go back to Zoom.
All right. So it's a little behind. Yeah. Go back to Zoom because we don't see you right now.
All right.
All right. Okay, good. All right. So we're live and back on the Facebook Live show, Drug and Alcohol Attorneys. I'm sorry we're a bit late, but technology as it is occasionally throws a spanner in the works. I had to log back off and get something on the phone and all that other stuff. But I am super excited we're live now. And I got my good friend Matt Williams here. So thank you, Matt, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So for the folks that maybe don't know you, but they probably know you by your products. So if you've ever been to Juice and Java and Whole Foods, and you'll have to give me the names of the other stores, Matt. And
everywhere. A lot of gyms, juice bars, online, gofropro.com, pretty much anywhere you can go to find them.
Right. So Matt and now his wife Chelsea are the owners of FroPro, which is a really, really cool protein bar. And you find it in the refrigerated section because it's all fresh. And I know they're coming out with a super protein donut, which you've kind of been teasing us with on Facebook.
Yeah, we had.
I didn't get any of those.
No, well, I you're in luck actually, because I literally sitting in here before we got on was the creator himself, Nani's Dough, was in the house, and we were chatting about tomorrow's event. So we have donuts back, FroPro donuts. There will be glazed FroPro donuts, coconut donut, coconut FroPro, and PB&J FroPro donuts available tomorrow at Nani's Dough in Delray Beach.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk about FroPro in a minute, but the main reason I wanted you on the show was because you have a really cool story, Matt. I mean, and we have a lot of, we've had a lot of professional athletes.
It's all fresh.
Oh, hold on a second.
And I know that
I'm hearing myself.
Super protein donut, which you've kind of been.
There we go. Oh my goodness, I'm hearing myself. So it's definitely
good.
Facebook. So we've had a lot of professional athletes on the show, and I mean, I think that your story is, I mean, it's as good as any of those. I mean, really, at the end of the day, we talk about addiction. it doesn't really matter where you come from, whether you're a professional athlete, a husband, a wife, a father, or son. I mean, whatever it is. And I think that, I mean, it's a great story. And I mean, I obviously didn't know you before you had your issues, but I mean, I know your wife, and I know you a long time. And I mean, I know a lot of people love you, Matt, and I know that, you're very well liked. And I'm just so glad to have you on the show and that you were willing to come on and share your story, because at the end of the day, we're trying to help people who are dealing with the issues of addiction and mental illness and try and get them back on the straight and narrow, because we're people that are dropping like flies. So thank you very, very much.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for thinking of me and having me.
So, all right. So let's go back in time a little.
All right.
And, let's go from the beginning, because I always like to get things in order. And tell us where you grew up.
I grew up in New York, just outside the city, about 30 minutes north in like Hudson Valley area, like Westchester County.
Okay. What was it like to grow up there?
I mean,
Normal childhood?
I was going to say, I mean, it's kind of like here, but there's a beach here, so it's nice. So, I mean, it's a beautiful area. I grew up with every, opportunity. My parents were two amazing people. I had two older brothers. I was definitely a surprise. My two older brothers are a lot older than me, so I was kind of going through elementary and all those like younger grades as like an only child, because like my brothers were in college or just coming out of college, and at one point, I could have been, I mean, it would have been a little weird, but I could have been my oldest brother's kid, because he was like 14 when I was born. And I know that's possible in some places, but yeah, no, we have an awesome family dynamic. My parents are, as I said, were just really good, really good people, and really, did the best and gave me every opportunity I could possibly ever ask for.
So you guys are a tight group.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still talk to my brothers, my older brothers, have their lives and their families. And, we get together a couple times a year, or at least we try to, usually in the summer, and then sometime either Thanksgiving or Christmas. But they're kind of spread up and down the East Coast. My mom still is up in New York. Now my father passed a long time ago. But yeah, no, I mean, like we're still very close, and everybody, through technology like this, FaceTiming and talking to, my nieces and nephews. And it's crazy, man. Like, my niece, who was born when I graduated high school, is literally in college. So it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, having two nieces in college now, which is
Right.
interesting.
There you go.
Your wife was their nanny at one time. And I think, so what's interesting about this is that your wife, Chelsea, was my niece's, my sister's kids. She was the nanny. And
yeah, no, she definitely took it. Yeah, I mean,
and the oldest one just went off to Syracuse. She's a freshman in college. I mean,
it was funny. I bumped into her and I said, congrats. Like, I hadn't seen her in years. She's a lot different than when she was a fourth grader and I was her teacher. So that's, it's kind of crazy that, time flies and kids grow up. And there's still a couple of people I talk to that, it's just crazy. Kids, some of the kids that I know that when I started teaching are, out of college, working jobs, some are married. It's nuts. Time flies.
I know it does. So let's go back to there's a point in time where you come down to Florida. So when does that happen? You came from New York. When did that happen?
I moved from that area. I got down here around 2009. I accepted a job teaching fourth grade and coaching. And I came down here and it just, it was an opportunity for me to kind of start in a different place. And I had been in the Northeast pretty much my whole life. And, the farthest I went was Pennsylvania for school, but, I'd travel a lot and was fortunate to be exposed to a lot of things through college and traveling abroad and living abroad. But I ended up down in Florida for a teaching job. And, it was like the dream job, the amazing school, the amazing coaching position, the amazing, I was living right by the beach. I was like 5 minutes from the beach. I, had pretty much everything that you could want. I was driving the Jeep, the Jeep Wrangler with no top, and like I was young.
I think you were back in college, actually.
Yeah, it was like young, single, 27, 28, and life was pretty good.
Wow. So where were you teaching?
I was teaching at St. Andrews, a school here in Boca Raton.
Okay, and how old were the kids that you were teaching?
Fourth grade. I had fourth grade. I co-taught a fourth grade classroom with another awesome teacher. And amazing school, amazing faculty, just amazing people in general that kind of welcomed me and made me feel, part of the team once I got here.
Okay, that's awesome. So, at some point, I guess things start to go sideways, right? Because I mean, the issue of addiction sort of rears its ugly head. When did that start to happen? When did that become an issue? Because I mean, you're
Uh,
such a clean guy now. I mean, I see pictures of you on Facebook. I'm like, how comes I don't have a six pack? I know I'm a little bit.
uh,
I'm like, I'm looking at. I'm like, how'd that happen? I mean, I can't get that. So you're a
well,
clean guy now, but there was a point in time where that it wasn't quite the case.
yeah, no, I mean when you ask like when did it become a problem? It had been a problem for a long time. I not really, I wasn't really willing to take a look at myself, and there was a lot of blame placed a lot of other places, and again, the geographic change from up north to a place where like no one knew me, it looked like a clean start, and the problems were always there. Like wherever I was there. I don't know if you've ever heard that,
Yeah,
that
wherever you go,
statement,
there I
but
am.
yeah, and unfortunately, I wasn't too comfortable down here yet because I didn't know anybody, and like I couldn't really unleash kind of like my true addictive behavior. But I had some really, some minor slips when I first got down here, but like concealed everything pretty well, at least I thought. And then you make a lot of stupid mistakes when you're drinking and doing things under the influence, and one of them is driving a car, or you just do a lot of stupid stuff. And unfortunately that all came to a head in on May 15th in 2010, when I really you know did some damage and was out and having fun, or so I thought, having fun, and I ended up driving home and getting a DUI, and just making a pretty public scene about and around town. So it was unfortunate.
All right. Well, let's back up something because my notes indicate that um, there was an issue in college, right? That we had a DUI. Am I right about that? Did I get that right?
Yeah, no, I mean it was like right out of college. I had my first experience with that in like 2003. I left college and graduated college, I should say, and I moved to like kind of like the Bethesda, Maryland, Washington D.C. area, and I was like 21, maybe, yeah, maybe 21, and I got my first DUI, and it was one of those things where like everybody was like, "Oh man, everyone gets DUIs. It happens, and like don't worry about it. You'll figure it out." And it was one of those things where it was super scary. I didn't hurt anybody, but I ended up in like a jail for the first time, real like jail in like Virginia, and recommend no one go there in terms of jail. And I got a pretty big scare, but at the same time, I was out within 24 hours, and I had to pay some money, fines, and a lawyer, and it was essentially it was one of those things that was like, oh man, that scared me, but it wasn't anything that really caused a too severe of a repercussion, if you will.
Right. I guess you sort of treated it almost like as a rite of passage.
Yeah, it was kind of treated that way because I had buddies that had like two or three, and they're like, oh man, you're fine, dude, it's gonna be okay.
Okay. So I wrote down here that you were bartending as well, right? You worked in the restaurant business. Is that before you came down here?
I worked in the restaurant business through in college and kind of after college, and I got into that. I was bartending, waiting tables in Westchester and Manhattan and Connecticut, and kind of that was it was fitting for me because I fit in with people that like to party and drink, and that crowd. I mean, there's great restaurants out there, and a lot of people that are in restaurant business that I associated with like to drink and party like I did.
Okay. So you come down here, you get this
Hmm.
great job at St. Andrews, right?
Yep.
So the partying that was going on before, maybe when you were in college, is that still going on when you're down here?
Not as much. I kind of, I got, like I said, I didn't really know anybody. I'm a pretty sociable guy. I like to go out and meet people and all that good stuff, but you know, I never really clicked with anybody. I was super, I really missed up north, and I missed like the whole Manhattan to Stamford and the Connecticut area to Westchester. I missed like the kind of triangle. I look back at it, I call it like the triangle of terror. But I missed that ability to kind of go from town to town, and no one really knew who I really was down here. They knew I was like Mr. Williams. I coached, I taught, I was a nice guy. And, unfortunately, like I didn't really get too close with anyone except a couple, like the families and the parents that whose kids that I taught, really, who kind of got to know who I was. And it was interesting, like I pretty much kept to myself on the weekends. I coached, I worked out, I did the beach. I had some friends down here, and it's funny, I had some friends down here that were actually sober and had gotten sober for a period of time and were living a sober lifestyle, and like they were great. I got to get, like people I've known for a long time and people I've met, and it was just kind of like that was just like a side thing. And if I wanted to go do what I wanted to do, I usually, unfortunately, I did it by myself.
Right. So I know that there was because I'm on my notes here. I noted it seemed like you were living a bit of a double life, right? Because you were working during the day, and then there was stuff going on at night. So maybe we can.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
100%.
right now, but right? I mean, what's interesting,
Yeah,
it's sort of that dichotomy, right? Like here's like Matt, the married guy, really great, but yet back then, you
I wasn't married. I wasn't married yet. I was a
no, I
single
know you
teacher
weren't
at that
married back then.
time.
I mean, now, like, people meet you like, there's no way that could be the same guy. I mean, that's what.
Right.
I mean, that really is like, if there's one thing that's consistent with people who get into recovery, it's like you meet the person who's in recovery, and then you hear about what happened beforehand. You're like, that can't be possible.
Right.
It's such a different person, which is what's really cool about getting in recovery is what a shift and what a change it makes. So maybe we could talk about that, like what was going on when you were still having issues, and you were teaching, and the nightlife and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I held on to like the profession and like the fact that I was a teacher really tightly. So I never did anything that would jeopardize. I never needed to wake up and have a drink or anything like that. I never wanted to jeopardize that. But there was nights I was out and I was drinking, and you'd have fun, and I'd wake up and I just feel like crap. And you sometimes go to work with a hangover, but I didn't really want to do that because I knew I loved the job. And you know, um, living a double life like that is just exhausting. And being Matt, teacher, coach, and everything, and trying to be the world, because the students and the families, I mean, it meant everything to me. That was one of the biggest reasons I taught. Is I love family, I love community, I loved all of that, and I still do. And it was just unfortunate, like I had an issue that I wasn't really willing to face. And anytime I consumed a beverage of, an alcoholic beverage or some type of alcohol, like I always say there was no off switch. It was like I just couldn't stop. And it was unfortunate.
Okay.
So yeah, no, living that double life is exhausting. And eventually, when everything kind of, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but when everything kind of came to the culmination, and I remember going through what I went through, and unfortunately, going through the DUI and everything. I remember, I was back at school, a couple days later. I'm sitting there. It's getting close to the end of the year, and it's testing time. And I'm sitting there talking and looking at these awesome kids, and I'm like, man, I'm like, for lack of a better word, a fucking phony. And I felt just so terrible about myself and what I was doing and who I was.
Wow. So May 15th, right? That's sort of the day that will sort of, for lack of a word, lives in infamy. So what year are we in now? It's May 15th of what?
This is 2010.
Okay, so this is 8 years ago. You get arrested for another DUI. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that here in Palm Beach?
Yeah, it was right here in Palm Beach. It was right on Glades Road, unfortunately.
Okay. So what's cool about, what's I guess critical about that day is that sort of was the catalyst for you to go get some help, right?
Yeah, it was, I was heavily intoxicated. I had recently I looked through a lot of the documents that I was kind of cleaning out some stuff, and I found a lot of paperwork from 2010, and kind of looked back at the police report and the records and all this other stuff. And it was, I look back at it now, I can smile, I can laugh, but at the time it was like one of those things where it happened and it was like the end of the world for me. I mean, I've shared with before, like I didn't want to be alive anymore. I felt like a big failure. I let down my parents. I let down my family. I let down the school. I was very, very tough on myself. And it was a pretty dark time. It was one of those things that, like, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I've shared before about this. It's like, I didn't want to run. I knew I was in trouble. And it was just like, I sat down and just kind of, it was like, here we go. Take me away. Like I'm done.
Did you
I'm
feel
exhausted.
was it almost a sense of relief?
I mean, at the time, not really a relief because I was pretty numb, but like definitely something I knew. I was just like, I didn't want to run anymore, and I didn't want to live the way I was living.
Right. So I know that at some point there, shortly after you went to rehab, is that right?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to finish up the remaining couple weeks with the students. The students graduated, and then I checked into a rehabilitation program in Delray Beach.
Okay. How long did you spend in treatment?
About 90 days.
Okay. And when you came out, I mean, how'd you feel? Well, lighter,
I
right? 'Cause
A
we
little
talked
bit
about-
lighter. Yeah, no, I was in a lot better shape. I didn't have the beer bloat. I didn't have any of the, just the symptoms of just being like, putting my body through just complete torture. And I felt healthier. I was eating a lot better. I was in a lot better shape. But one of the things that's really tough to deal with is like, I still love teaching. I still love coaching. I still love working with people, but that was essentially still being threatened of not ever happening again because of kind of the history of my alcoholism led to a lot of problems, and I was just waiting on kind of what was going to happen. So I really wasn't going to get hired anywhere teaching, and I really wasn't going to get hired, and I kind of secured somewhat of a job kind of in a kitchen making some food. This is like before prepared meals were a big thing down here, and I was essentially just making some food a couple days a week. I was attending some outside treatment help after leaving rehabilitation, and just kind of focusing on my recovery and being true to what I had learned in kind of the beginning.
Great. So at some point, so help me to get the timing here, because there's a point in time here where you meet your wife, right? You meet Chelsea, and you know what's interesting? What's really cool? I was in Whole Foods, I don't know, maybe a week ago, and where you guys have your bars, that you know what I'm going to say, right? There's that little,
Right.
There's a photo of you and Chelsea. It's really,
Yeah.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Thanks,
So if
man.
anybody wants to meet your wife or see your wife, they should go to Whole Foods, buy a Fro Pro, or actually they should
Right.
buy a box of Fro Pro, and then they get to see you. And there's a photo of you and Chelsea, right? It's great.
Yeah.
I love
No,
it.
I mean it's really awesome. Yeah. I mean I had met Chelsea, I think, in I think it was March. We actually like met, and that was March. This is before all this stuff went down, and
Right.
we had been talking and hanging out, and nothing
So you
crazy because
gotta share what you shared with me, which is how you actually met her, because that's kind of a cool story.
so it was, I believe, recess, and it was funny. I was out there
This is
playing
when
force.
you're teaching, right? You're still teaching.
Yeah, this is when I was teaching, and we're out on campus, and I noticed this girl, Chelsea, walking across campus, and I asked, because I wasn't sure who she was. I asked, your niece. I said, "Who's that?" And she's like, any age, girls are just super in touch with what's going on. She's like, "Oh, why, Mr. Williams? Why?" I was like, "I don't know. Who is this
They
girl?"
used
Like
to
that.
grill me about the same stuff.
Yeah.
Little girls are very interested in their uncles and other men's personal lives.
Yeah, it was funny, and I was like, I don't know. It's clearly, I know I've met your parents. That's not is that your sister? And she's like, no, that's my babysitter, my nanny. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't think anything of it. And then of course Sydney, went back to, Chelsea and said, oh, Mr. Williams asked about you. And then, I think it was like the next day on the carpool line, I ended up having a conversation with Chelsea, and just kind of like chatting, and one thing led to another, and I asked her out. I asked her out and just said, love to get to know you. And very honestly, at that time, I hadn't re-signed a contract to come back to teach, and I was going back to New York to what I thought was the most important thing. And it was like, hey, let's just have some fun and get to know each other, and like I'll be here for a little bit, and and great, and see what happens. And then, and obviously my funny little plans changed, and as they say, the shit hit the fan, and I ended up staying down here. And during that time, I mean, when I went away to rehabilitation and to rehab, and I very clearly stated, you're young, you're beautiful, you got the world ahead of you. I'm in a really bad way, and you should probably think about doing something else, or being with somebody else. And she stuck it out, and
So
as she,
At what point did you indicate to her, or did she ask you, or did she notice, right, that there was an issue? I mean, how
No,
did,
that was
how
the
did that?
toughest thing. Yeah, that was the toughest thing because she never saw me at my worst. So like, again, people getting DUIs and things like that. Oh yeah,
Oh, did we lose Matt?
what's really No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It
It's like
started.
what yeah, what you know, it's just weird. It was just funny. Like it's just kind of like what point do you tell somebody like, I'm really bad. Hey, like I like you, but I'm a really bad alcoholic. I wasn't ready to admit that. And at first she didn't understand it, and then she kind of understood, and she was open to learning about, recovery and what it means to be in recovery and how recovery is the most important thing. And the fact that she understood that and knew that that had to come first, even before her, was like one of the most amazing things. And she let me build a foundation in the community and in recovery, and she was part of it. And that's why I think we're so, that like the communication between her and I is like nothing I've ever had in my life.
She's special girl, your wife.
She's a you call it rock star. She's the best.
No question. No question.
Yeah.
So let's talk about FroPro, because you have this
Okay.
like really cool. Do you have any of them with you so people can see it? The packet.
Hey Chelsea, you have a Fro? Can you bring me a FroPro? Do you have a FroPro over there? Yeah, I'll grab one second.
So, because I want people to see the packet, because they may not know the name,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
they'll definitely recognize the packet.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. You want?
FroPro. There we go. All right. So, folks, if you haven't tried one of these, you got the best protein bars out there.
And this is the brand new flavor. This is coconut. You can
All right.
find this. You can't find this at the Whole Foods because they only carry our original flavors. But this is a flavor that we carry, and our store. I mean, we'll get to that, I'm sure, but our store is right on Clintmore and West Rogers Circle.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because I mean,
Sure.
I always tell people that, at least, so one of the things that I learned, and it took me a long time to learn this, is, my law office is a business, right? There's the business and there's the practice. The business side of it is about making money, right? Selling the right legal services, and the practice is about doing the work ethically, morally, and, within the rules of professional conduct. But at the end of the day, if I don't sell any legal services, I go broke. So, and I started my business out of the Spanish River Library 3 years ago, because at the time I was broke. They had
That's awesome,
free Wi-Fi, so it was a way to start.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, we all go through our own craziness. I think until you've started your own business, you don't realize how hard it is to make a buck and how easy it is to lose it. So, I mean, FroPro didn't just, appear out of magic. I mean, it's really been the product of hard work by you and Chelsea. So maybe fill us in as to when FroPro was sort of conceived and what was the caused it to
be. Well, it's funny because, again, when you kind of start over and you don't really have much to your name, I was just kind of focusing on certain things. And, one of the things I like to do is eat, I like protein bars. I liked all these different things. And I really couldn't afford a lot of the stuff. So I was making my own stuff and, getting the basic raw materials, and I was making stuff at home. And I was working, like I said, I was working in the kitchen for a period of time. And that job went from, quick time to working for, fortunately for another family, and another one of my students' fathers gave me a chance, and he gave me a job. And, I just kind of was sitting there and just kind of learning about, when I was working for someone else, I was just learning about, nutrition and what it means to be, eating healthy, and, what's a vegan, all this stuff that's like so important now. And I don't mean to say stuff lightly. It's just there's so much we could go into that obviously we're not talking about right now. But I was making my own product, and I was, literally taking it everywhere that I was training people, because at the time I was getting back into training some of the kids I had trained before when I was coaching baseball, and some of the parents kind of knew my situation and they were helping me out. And one of the parents tried her daughter wanted to try the bar, and I said, listen, I don't know what your allergies are, like ask your mom. The mom said, yeah, no, this is fine. Tried the bar, and she's looking at me. She's like, is this bar really healthy for my kid? Because like she doesn't eat anything healthy. And I said, it actually is. And, kind of an idea was born where she said, this is good. You should do something, sat me down, said, what do you want to call it? I said, well, it's like it's like a frozen protein snack bar. So like Pro. And she was like, and she like went online. She's like, and like did all this stuff. And she's like, all right, give me your credit card. And I was like, I don't really have a lot of money to spend. She's like, just let me do this for you and you'll be fine. And, she was in marketing and she was in the business of growing other businesses, and just said, all right, you have 7 websites. Now go test your product. And I was like, I don't really know what you're talking about. I don't understand. I just make this. And she's like, well, when you figure it out, you figure it out. And the funny thing is like, I was working at a gym. I was training people. I was trying to get back into the recovery field and use my degrees to counsel or work in treatment. And ended up getting a job at a treatment center that I had attended and been a client at. And also my friends had started a gym / fitness in Delray, and I started training with them. And one of the best things about that was I was able to share the product with a couple hundred people, and I didn't attach my name to it. And all they said was, hey guys, come try this free protein bar after class. Let us know what you think. And I got really honest feedback. I got, interaction with people of like, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. And then I met somebody who was like, this is good. However, you should do plant-based protein because anybody can eat that. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I'll go learn about that. So I learned about it, made a batch with a different protein, changed some things up, brought it back to this young lady who had essentially been managing a juice bar in Boca. And she said, wow, this is great. I can eat this and I can sell this to my clients. Bring me 100 and I'm going to sell them for you. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. And she was just like, figure it out. Bring me 100. And when you bring me 100,
baby, Tim Grover,
yeah.
Michael Jordan trainer, figure it out.
Yeah. And I figured out how to do it. And I brought her 100 bars and dropped them off. And I was like, she's like, this is what, if, this is called consignment. I'll pay you if they sell. And if they don't, you can come pick them up. And I said, great. I don't really know what this means, but I appreciate it. And I would say 3 days later, about 3 days later, she called me. She says, Matt, great news. I need another 100. I sold out.
Where were you making them?
Well, at that time, I was literally making them in my house, in my kitchen, in like a little kitchen. I was making them in my kitchen. And she said, there's a cottage rule. It's called the Cottage Act or something like that, where you can, there's so many green farmers markets down here. You have to have a label that says, Cottage Act. I said, I'm not even anywhere near there. I appreciate this. Like, it was a lot of work. And I was like, if you want me to keep going, great. And she said, I do. And now go talk to my friend in Delray. She owns a juice bar and you should sell it there too. And then I went there and I talked to her, and that's when I realized I had a friend who had a kitchen, and I asked to rent his space. And so in these ridiculously off hours, and I'm up early, I would get out to his kitchen, I would make bars, and then I would try and take them and just go from place to place that was literally referred by people in community. I would go to their places, walk in and say, hey, here's my product. So-and-so referred me. I hope you like it. If you don't, no problem. If you do, this is what we sell them for. And I hope you and your clients enjoy it.
So you basically went door to door.
100% door to door. And it was all through word of mouth. It was all through, hey, this is my friend. Go talk to this person. Or my friend so-and-so owns this. Go talk to that person. And I acknowledge this all the time. I wouldn't be anywhere I am today without the community of here in Delray Beach, Boca Raton, South Florida. No doubt we would be nowhere without it.
Yeah, you know what's really that I noticed? I think the first time I had a Pro, it maybe is the only protein bar I've ever had that's refrigerated. All the other stuff is just on a shelf in a packet. But yours is in a refrigerator. So why is that? Because obviously there's something if you don't refrigerate it, I mean, it goes bad, I would think.
Well, no. So here's the best part about it is we don't use any dairy. So we're a plant-based protein bar. So we have plant-based protein, gluten-free oats, organic peanut butter, honey, and cinnamon. When we started, we didn't start that way, and we evolved to that. But nothing in our product goes bad. There's no fruit like some of the stuff that's out there uses like a date or like a fruit paste, and fruit obviously goes bad. With our product, it doesn't. So if it were to sit out on your desk there, it could sit there for up to 3 months, and you could still eat it because there's nothing that's spoiling or going bad in it. There are other bars out there, and some are refrigerated, where if it's not eaten in, I think it's like 10 to 12 days, you can't eat it anymore. And again, like, none of this stuff I knew. And when I did this, there wasn't any of that thought. I didn't know what I was doing. And the fact that, like, this is a product, I made it for myself. I loved it. Other people started loving it. And then I've just kind of learned how to, like, scale it and grow it. And we're still learning how to do that.
Wow. Yeah, because I mean, they're refrigerated. I love them when they're cold. They're great.
Oh
But
yeah. This one right here is ice cold.
if you, I mean, you take like a Quest bar and you put it in the fridge and then try to eat it, and that 2 hours later, it'd be like trying to eat a brick. You'd probably break your teeth. It's always soft and moist. I mean, it always tastes fresh.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, we work hard, and like, we try different sizes and shapes and all these other things to kind of see what worked and what didn't, and the right weight and the right things that we did with it kind of led to where it is now, where Chelsea likes to eat it right out of the freezer and it doesn't crack her teeth, and I like to eat it right out of the fridge, and sometimes it's in my golf bag and I'll pull it out and it's been in the bag for a week, and it's just like cookie dough. So
I know at some point Chelsea got involved, right? So
yep.
Chelsea helped you. And I know that you guys work, that's why there's that photograph of the two of you, because it's really, I mean, what's really neat about FroPro is it's really about you and Chelsea. I mean, I mean, it's your business. So what was she doing before that? And then when did she get involved?
So Chelsea was Chelsea was a nanny, preschool teacher, and then through preschool met one of the moms there hired her to kind of come work for her business. Chelsea ended up working her way up in that business, and it was a very successful jewelry company here in town, and kind of pretty much all over the not even the country but the world. And Chelsea kind of learned how to run a business, and Chelsea's incredibly hardworking and very driven. And what was great about it is that she kind of learned how to run a business for this woman. And it was such a cool experience, because not only was, like, it's Jennifer Zuner Jewelry, but, like, not only is Jennifer's, like, was she so good and, like, helpful and, like, again, part of the community, but Chelsea really learned a valuable skill of how to run business, and, like, just kind of is like a quick learner and does all the things that, like, I always say, like, I'm not at the best at. She does them a lot better than me. And, the thing, like, we just balance each other out, which is really good in terms of business. In terms of everything else, Chelsea's always right. I mean, I'd be stupid to say
you already
otherwise.
learned the lesson that I didn't learn when I was married. And you're not.
Yeah.
And so, wow.
Chelsea, you want to say hi to Chelsea? Hey, Chelsea.
I do. Come on, bring your wife on. She can't be done,
like, she's not done yet. She's, like, running around. Hold on. You just want to say hi? I know you're busy and you have to leave.
Come and say hello.
Say hi to everybody.
Everybody's watching the show. Hello, Mrs. Williams.
Oh, at the bottom. Hi.
How are you?
She can't hear me. I have my earbuds in, so she can't hear you. She just said hi.
So now everybody, when they go into Whole Foods or wherever else they see that photograph, they'll recognize your wife.
I hope so. Yeah.
I love it. So I know that you guys just moved into a new facility, right?
Yeah, we're on 1200 Clintmore Road. We're Unit 11. So if you're on Clintmore and you're driving essentially kind of by the warehouse district, as they say, it's right on the corner of West Rogers and Clintmore. So if you look over at the light and you're stopped, you'll see our store, big FroPro sign and FroPro on the windows, and letting everybody know that we're here. And again, it's incredible. It's incredible to be here. And, we look back at one point I was getting driven home on this road right outside, and I didn't want to be alive anymore. And now I'm sitting here in a business working with my wife on something that is literally grown by this community of recovery, of second chances, and of people that have said and supported us from day one. So it's like crazy.
So, I mean, so tell us about, like, because I know you're in a bunch of stores, right? I mean, I know that I've seen you in Juice and Java, which is one of the places I love to eat. Mm-hmm. And also you're in Whole Foods, but you guys are sort of expanding, right? In terms of how many stores you're in?
Yes, we just, so we were fortunate to start working with Whole Foods, Palm Beach County, about a year ago, and we just got cleared to go into Broward, and we just started delivering down to Broward. So we're in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, Coral Springs, Davie, and what's the other one? Pembroke Pines. So we have 9 Whole Foods, which is really cool. And again, a lot of work, because when you go into one, you do a lot of demos in places you're not really, we're still local there, but there's a lot of things that, we again, sharing our story and what we're doing. And what's great is I was fortunate enough to meet another company out in Tampa, and Tampa has this, it's called Fit Life Foods. There's one in, there's like, I think 12 or 13, but there's one in Tampa and Orlando and Jacksonville. And
oh, we lost Matt. Matt, we lost you. Oh my God, we're having one of those days where, hold on a second. Oh my goodness. He's there, I just can't see him. Hold on a second. We're having one of those days where we just can't seem to get the technology right. Matt, can you hear us? We lost him. He's going to log back in. All right, folks, hold on a second. We're definitely on Facebook. I don't know why. It's there, right? Oh my God, you got to love technology, and I can barely change a light bulb, so you have to know how stressful this is for me. Oh my goodness me. All right, so hold on, folks. We're gonna get Matt back on live, but I think what's really important, there's a message in all of the shows that we do. It's there really is, when times are darkest, and I'm not in recovery, but I just I can only tell you what my guests have shared and what my clients share. Is that it's very hard when you're in the throes of addiction to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's really hard for that. And I think when Matt starts talking about the fact, now he has this great life, he has a great company, he has a wonderful wife, and they're building this amazing company. And there was time where there was a period of time in his life where he just didn't think he even wanted to be alive. So I think the message is there is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And so if you know anybody that is dealing with these issues of addiction and mental illness, even if they don't need a lawyer, send them our way, because we're so dialed into the treatment community, and there's a lot of great treatment down here and a lot of great treatment providers down here. We'll gladly give you access to anybody that we know, and just what you do is give me a call. So I don't know if Matt is coming back on. Hold on one second, folks. I'm gonna check. Nothing like doing this as we sit here, right? Here, Audra, you're gonna call him right now. Oh, did we get Matt? We got him. Matt, you're back.
there.
Yeah, we're back.
Hey man, sorry about that. My phone literally just all of a sudden just shut off completely.
It's okay. It's all good.
That was the most bizarre thing ever. Sorry about that. So yeah, I was saying, yeah, we've expanded down into the Whole Foods. With everything else down here and all the different places, as long as we keep expanding with them and doing right by them, we kind of grow in a slow, controlled manner. And then everything else is just kind of I'd like to start doing some stuff in New York, where I'm from, and kind of sharing that product with, back home. And not only, again, the bar is delicious and everything like that, and we've been super fortunate to have a great product, but carrying the mission of our, the foundation that we started, and second chances, and having an opportunity to do things over and to do whatever, we can to help people and inspire people that, just because you have a run of bad luck or you make some bad decisions and some things go wrong, it doesn't mean it's over. And, at one point I was ready to be done with it all. So. Yeah.
And I know that you're also very involved in the treatment community, right? In terms of being a sort of a support system for people who need help. Maybe just share a little bit about that, because I know that when I've gone to treatment events, every once in a while I bump into you. What's the big event we do here in Delray? The foodie thing. What do they call that?
Oh, oh man, I couldn't make it this year because we were, oh shoot,
You
I
know what
was able
I'm
to
talking
go.
about, right?
Yeah, no,
I think
I
the year
saw
I
you
bumped into Louis
briefly.
Bossy had done it. He was
Yeah,
a
no, I
then.
saw you briefly, and it was like because we were doing another event. It was it's called a Taste of Recovery.
Taste of Recovery. There we go.
Taste of Recovery, and yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it raises a lot of fun, funds for helping people get into treatment and do some things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. They're actually hosting the Crossroads Club is hosting, I think, a run in October. I'm going to get you some information on that, and
Right.
they're trying to do their first like recovery run. And like I said, with our foundation too, we're able to give back, and I have a lot of friends that are really into the giving back spirit, and friends that have started a workout program in Boca and East Boca at a gym that gives back to people and promotes a free workout for people in early recovery that can't afford fitness. And there's just so many good things that are going on that otherwise wouldn't be going on.
So if somebody's in the sort of the early the early stages of recovery, where can they go do one of these workouts? Because I know, I mean, for me, my time in the gym in the morning, I mean, that's almost like my drug of choice. I mean, that's what that keeps me going. So
Say that again.
I said, if somebody's in recovery, right? And I mean, I know just from my perspective how important it is to get that endorphin rush in the morning. And I would think somebody in recovery maybe even more important. So if somebody's, in the beginnings of recovery, they don't have a lot of dough, where can they go to do the training? Where can they go to work out?
So yeah, the gym that does it's called Temperance Training, and they do it from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 1 o'clock to about 2 o'clock over at CrossFit Hype in East Boca. And it's my friends Anthony Fazio and Tim Mushkin, and they really focus on bringing the recovery community together. There's also recovery runs in the morning for people that are based in Delray. They've been doing those out of Fleet Feet. My friend Nick Stump owns that place. And, what's great is that there's obviously there's always like a negative stereotype around some things, but like, again, one of the things they're trying to change is like recovery can be positive. And there's a lot of people that are really doing some amazing things out there that, have started over and like, they're redoing and kind of changing their life. And it's pretty awesome to see. I mean, there's other gyms that are giving people, I can mention every gym around here that, really does want to help people and really does want to focus on giving back. And, it's just cool to be a part of, and we're happy to be a part of it.
So tell us about the foundation. You mentioned the foundation. Tell us about that.
So we were essentially supporting two other foundations. And we realized, like, we're donating a lot of money and it's great and we're happy to do so. And, there's a lot of other people that obviously in this area that could, or we could expand our reach with people that are is equally or more successful and generous with their time and their money. And we were able to kind of start something, and we partner with, like I said, we partner with Temperance Training to help them and, kind of give them some opportunity, and also partner with Runwell, which is one of the places that gave me an opportunity when I ran the 2016 marathon. We raised money for a foundation that helps people that can't afford to get into drug and alcohol treatments. And that one's actually nationwide. Runwell is a huge organization that focuses on running and events that, center around doing things and being active. And, as you said, that endorphin rush and feeling good and achieving goals and setting goals and, doing things that are, in a healthy way.
Right. So what's the future for FroPro? Because I know we sort of talked a little bit at the beginning about the whole protein donut thing. And so where are you guys? And I keep seeing those on Facebook. And every time you sort of put thing, you're like, well, I have 5 donuts to give away. And I'm like, 5? I want one. Well, what's the future for FroPro? Because I know it's exciting and you guys are really working hard to make it a great business.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, like I said, partnering with other local business owners, like, Nani has been great and giving us an opportunity. We partnered with, Proper Ice Cream for a fun event. And again, it's just like, raising awareness, having fun, bringing businesses together. As far as FroPro, we'd like to continue to keep moving down south in terms of like our expansion and and really share the product with, as many people as we can, and share our story. And, kind of, again, after we kind of prove the concept in all of Florida, be able to take that to other areas, again, like, addiction and alcoholism and all those, I mean, mental health. Look at, well, you hear about it every day on the news, people that are struggling, and it's it's not just nationwide, it's a worldwide thing. And if we can be an inspiration to somebody, like I said, if we can be an inspiration and we can get the word out that, there are second chances, there are third or fourth or fifth or sixth chances, and like, you're not down and out. You don't have to sit by. I mean, I had someone tell me that in early recovery, like, you don't have to sit here and feel sorry for yourself. Like, you like, in all, in the nicest way possible. Like, what happened to you is great, but what are you going to do about it? Because no one effing cares. And you just got to get doing it, and got to get to it. And
Gotta get back in the game.
Yeah. And it's, if you're going to sit around and feel sorry for yourself, it's going to be a pretty lonely party, because it's probably just going to be you. And I had to hear that, I had to hear those things that, like, were intense and in my face. And listen, like, Chelsea and I are just so blessed to be doing what we're doing in our community. If we can promote that in other communities and raise money and raise awareness and do something good, and also, have people eat some delicious snack bars, that's pretty awesome on our end.
I love it. So before I let you go, some of the foundations and do we have emails and websites information to give out for people?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing for us right now is to go to www.gofropro.com, and you can read all about kind of what we are, what we're doing, who we are, any events coming up. Our foundation link is right there. And that links to Runwell, that links to, temperance training. If you email us on the website, it comes to Chelsea or myself. So you'll get a response from us. We're on Instagram at GoFroPro, GoFroPro. We're on Facebook. We're pretty, we're always excited when people drop by that, see the sign and like, oh, you sell FroPro, and we were able to, like, give them some FroPro, or people that wanted to try it, that, we're just excited to have people be excited as we are, and, just kind of share in what we're doing. And again, we wouldn't be where we are today without, again, like, people like you that just support and want to learn more and want to be supportive of what we're trying to do, and all the work that you're doing in the community. That, it's super important. And, a lot of the times it's looked at as I don't want to deal with these people who are struggling. But ever since I became really honest about where I was and what I was going through, I can't tell you one person that hasn't said, I know somebody, or my family or my friend has gone through the same thing. And
everybody does. I don't know how you could possibly not know somebody who's dealing with these issues.
Yeah.
It's impossible these days. So thank you for coming on the show, Matt. You're really,
I appreciate it, man.
People were texting me while we were on the show saying, I can't get any work done. I can't turn off the show. He's too good. So
thanks, man. So
you, and actually I'm going to hold this up. So this, just by the way, if people want to read more about you, because it's such an inspiring story, this is the Sun Sentinel wrote a really great
yeah, I remember that, yeah,
because it's really amazing. So if you just Google Matt, and you'll see an article the Sun Sentinel wrote. It was a great article.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm going to give up my contact information for two reasons. One, if the people need to call me and find out about what we do, and two, if they want to find out more about Matt, and for some reason they just can't seem to find you online, which would be strange. But anyway, they can reach me. So here's my phone number: 561-419-6095. Or our website, which is drug and A&D, so it's drugandalcoholattorneys.com, or they can email me, Mark, M-A-R-K, at drugandalcoholattorneys.com. Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I really appreciate it, Mark. It's been awesome, just kind of rehashing everything. That was fun.
We're going to get a lot of views. So hold on a second. I'm going to log off Facebook, and then don't go anywhere, okay? Hold on.
All righty. You got it.
Oh, hold on one second here. I got to get us off Facebook.